and a vibe. We're talking about our Queen soon, man. Absolutely beautiful. Brothers and sisters, I can see so many great leaders in this one room already. So many great people that when I first came into the struggle, they were there working on behalf of our community. But I know what actually woke me up back in the day, one of the aspects that woke me back up that day was when I went to Wolford Forest College. We had an African Caribbean Society there. And it was, does anyone know about called Umandaka? No. Umandaka, no? Yeah, there's another great brother, man. He's one of the kings that woke me up. Yeah, Brother Shakra's father. He's one of the young brothers that woke me up back in the day. So African Caribbean societies are fundamentally important, especially in institutions of learning. And so what we're going to be starting to do today, to start the agenda of today, okay, is by a presentation and a Q&A by the African Caribbean Society here. And in order to introduce that on, I'm going to ask our sisters to come on now. Before I ask the sisters to come on, let's have a quick trial. If I say make some noise, I want you to make, like, go like you're a Man United supporter. No, go.
One of the best things I'd say about university, kind of links to my point before, is that university is what you make of it. Although you come to university sort of get a degree and then leave, but you can do so much more in terms of extracurricular things. Like for example, I said, like, I'm president of ECS. That's something I enjoy doing, and that's sort of like a project that I want to take on and make better. So the best thing is the freedom you have and opportunities that you get at university to sort of be who you want to be and sort of expand your interests as much as you like, essentially.
Thank you. So thinking about why we're here tonight and the idea of celebrating people who are helping our children, you spoke a bit about Amos Bursaries, which again is a fantastic organisation. I'm a mentor myself. Who would you say has helped you or been important in your journey through the education system and to university?
There are a few people. My year 2 teacher, Miss Knight, she was the first teacher I ever had, and she was also Jamaican, which is why I felt that she sort of resonated with me and understood why I was finding things so difficult, and she did her best to sort of accommodate for me and make my time at school as good as possible. Second person, probably my year 5 teacher, so rest in peace. She was very instrumental in like changing my mindset, because I was very much like me against teachers. And I always thought that they were kind of out to sort of get me. But she kind of made me realise that at the end of the day, this is my life and I can make of it whatever I like. So it's either sort of live up to my potential, or I get kicked out and then become another stat. So yeah, and then finally I say my parents, my mum especially, because I felt like she's sort of dedicated her life to make sure that I can do whatever I like, to make sure that I have all the opportunities that I would want from life. And yeah, it's not something that I can never overlook or should have overlooked, because like that sort of love, you don't get that one time.
And my final question is, again, we have a lot of parents in the audience. So what advice would you give to parents who, again, are supporting their children through the educational journey and may have an interest in them progressing to higher education? What advice would you give to the parents in the room this evening?
One thing I I'm so grateful for my mum for, was that she always took an interest in my education in my school. And if the teachers or the school was saying, oh, James did X, Y, Z, she would always want to inquire why. Like, why did you do that? What was the situation? What else was involved? And a lot of the time she'd find out that the blame wasn't to do with me, and it wasn't really my fault, or it wasn't wholly my fault. And a lot of times she'd be writing letters and advocating for me and kind of holding the school accountable for the way they treat me. That's one thing I would encourage all parents to do. Don't just take all these letters you get from the school face value. Inquire, like, what situation, what happened, why do you think he's to blame? Who else was involved? Who else is to blame? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all the time your child will always be guilt-free, but understanding and inquiring will, one, it will help the child see that you actually, you're invested in the education, first of all, and also that having that support network, they may never tell you, but knowing someone's fighting the battle for you is very encouraging. So that's something I feel like we should appreciate and implore you to sort of do it. Sorry, the question was
sure. So,
parents.
yeah, what advice we can perhaps provide?
Also, your children are all different. Just because one child's doing something or you see success as something doesn't mean that's what your child wants for their life. Obviously, encourage them to be the best that they can. Encourage all children to be great, because we all have greatness within us. But your greatness may be completely different from what they view as great. So support them in what they want to do, guide them, advise them, and try and educate yourself about why they think something else is great. So that, okay, sorry. Try and educate yourself as to why they think something may be great, or why they view something like a particular career as what they want to do. And then it's that way, through that dialogue, that you kind of understand each other, and they may even say, you know what, Mum, Dad, you're right, this is what I should be doing. So that's very important. And lastly, on the point of educating yourself, is understand the system. The problem, especially I find with Caribbean parents, is that they don't understand education system. So they find it very difficult to help their children. It's not their fault. Find it very difficult to help their children through university or through to higher education. So when it comes to choosing options, they don't realise that their child might be limiting themselves further on. So try and find out information as early as possible. Like, understand what you need to go where, to go to what universities, research the best universities, and understand and sort, because then you can help your child and inform them about how to apply the best way to do something, or where to find work experience, or who to go to, or who to speak to find out certain information. So it's kind of like three things I think are very important.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd now like to open the floor. So if anybody has any questions for James, I think we've got about 10 minutes or so. If anybody would like to ask James about his experience, do we have 10 minutes? Yeah, about five minutes or so. So if anybody would like to ask James or myself any questions about the university experience, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to ask James about the evidence first. When you were at university, how did you manage to actually make the most of that experience? How did you do it together? Because obviously you're studying medicine, but at the same time you've got an opportunity. How did you manage to do it?
So first of all, the first one is Amos Bursary. Amos Bursary, as I said, it's a charity, so run a charity. It's set up by Baroness Amos and Colleen Amos, with the aim of, because they realise, it's only black boys, but they realised that black men were the most underrepresented in, like, I can't remember what kind of job. There was a measurement, and they saw that they were the most underrepresented. And the program is basically, it's from year 12 to the end of university, and then you become an alumni, and you sort of, it's sort of like a cycle. Then you become a mentor, I think. But essentially to sort of give young men all the skills that they need to do whatever they want in life, to be as successful and as great as you want to be. It doesn't matter what the field is, it doesn't matter what occupational career that you want to do. It gives you all the tools to put you in the best position to be the best that you can. In regards to balancing medicine and ACS, like being president of ACS, it's very difficult. Because as you can imagine, my medicine is very demanding. I was in hospital on Friday at 7 a.m. And I live in Northwest, and I had to go to Denmark Hill for 7 o'clock. So you can imagine like how up and down all over the place, and especially with Black History Month just finished, and I was having 2-3 events a week, plus going to GPs and hospitals and lectures and tutorials. So you can imagine I was all over the place. But this, number one, this saved my life. I write to-do lists daily. I have a diary. My phone is my life. Like, I have my diary on my phone, and I make sure I know what I'm doing the next day, and I plan for me time as well. I leave time just to literally sit down and just do nothing, or even eat. Like, I make sure I leave time in the day that I can just do nothing, because we always forget that we need time for ourselves. We always neglect. We always think, ooh, I have free time there, let me put something in there. Let me do something, let me be more active. But you can be actively doing something by doing nothing. That's kind of my answer. Did that answer your question?
Okay, that's good. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you stand maybe here in the front. I have a question for Jane. Yeah, you stand. I have a question for Jane. Yeah, can you like compare how like people from secondary school to university, like if they're more mature or something like that?
I'll say everyone's different. Obviously, you mature because you have to. Because university doesn't, obviously I'm not saying university doesn't care about you once you get there, but as in, no one chases you up if you miss a lecture. If you miss a lecture, that's for you to catch up on it. So at the end of the day, if you fail, they might ask you why you fail and support you in that way, but again, it will still be on you to do the revision to then do the exam. So I say people mature differently. I took a gap year, so I didn't explain that. I'm going to explain very quickly what I did in my gap year. So in my gap year, I worked for a few months, and then I went to Gambia for 3 months. Three and a bit months, from March to July. I was working at the Medical Research Council, but I found it very boring actually, because I was literally just processing samples and analysing data, which wasn't for me. So I asked to go in hospitals and clinics. I asked to kind of, I then also went out and found some orphanages where I could volunteer my time. I started teaching maths and English, and I also bought some stuff from England because I knew I wanted to in some way give back to anybody who needed it in the Gambia. Found some orphanages in a very rural part of Gambia called Keneba. We bought rice for the entire village because rice sampler doesn't really go off, and it's a staple food in the Gambia. And we also donated a lot of things to the orphanages in Keneba, stuff like old clothing, stationery, and basically anything we could carry, anything that we had, we donated. So back to your question about maturity, it kind of depends. If you come straight from school, obviously you'd be less mature than someone who's taking the year out, kind of like find themselves. But yeah, it depends on the individual, but university forces you to mature, and some people just belong to just on others.
Any other questions from any of the children? Any of the young people? I know we've got quite a few. Any of the children want to ask some questions? Not yet? Okay, we'll warm up and we'll come back to the children. Yes, sir.
I have 2 questions. Question number 1, did you attend the supplementary school?
No. But, sorry, just before I say that, when I first came to England, my mum, because I couldn't find a school for a few months, my mum bought me a lot of books, like a stupid amount of books. And she expected me to complete a certain amount, and obviously she would help me, question I couldn't do. But then, it came to a point where I was just eating books, and I was just finishing them like a book a day sort of thing, until I started to do things higher than my level. So I felt like that fed into why I didn't really adjust to the system as well, because I was doing well. I had already done these books, and some of my teachers would push me, but some wouldn't. So I'd just be there talking, like fidgeting, doing something, waiting for everybody else to finish, because I was doing it so quickly.
The second question is, what A-level subjects did you do?
I do.
The A-level subjects you did to allow you to get into?
Oh, so for medicine, the ones that you have to do, I think you have to do chemistry, you have to do biology, and maths is so generally people do maths, chemistry, and biology. But I think don't quote me, but I think you may only have to do 2 sciences. But again, check on the university websites. You have UCAS, where you can sort of see different universities that offer medicine and check entry requirements, and all the details you need will be either on the website, university website, or UCAS. So it's very,
Sorry, hi James. You come across as having a great sense of social responsibility. Maybe enlighten us a little bit. I'm assuming it's from Mom, but if you could just enlighten us a little bit where that's from.
my social responsibility. My social responsibility comes from the experience I had. I was at one of these events. Amos Bursary kind of allowed me to go to. Actually started before this, but this was kind of like the thing that accelerated my wanting to kind of give back as much as I possibly can. I said to someone, they asked me who I was, I introduced myself, said what A-level I was doing, and I was like, I also want to study medicine. Then they said to me, you must be Nigerian, do you want to study medicine? And that for me, I thought to myself, what? I just didn't understand what that meant. And then over time, I sort of realized that, especially in higher education, Caribbeans aren't seen as intelligent, and if you are in a space that's deemed to be an intelligent space, then it's like, I'm surprised to see you here, like, how did you get in, sort of thing. And for me, I thought to myself, I have to do as much as I can to help everyone, but especially young Caribbeans, to understand, 1, where they came from, 2, how great they are, and 3, that they can do anything that they want in this life. And I also realize and understand the importance of representation. You can't see, you can't believe something until you see it. That's kind of my philosophy. Obviously there's anomalies, but I feel like, sorry, was that me? But I believe if you see something, then you really believe it can happen. So I'm very much always trying to be I'm trying to be as in your face as possible. So that, because if you see that there's a Jamaican male, which is very few, studying medicine, then you're like, it's possible, like, I can do that too. And I feel that's very important, which is why I feel like I have such a responsibility. And I feel like I'm in a privileged position to do so. So, which is why I do.
We have time for two or three more questions. Yes.
But before you, Dr. Fraser, I know you're not there yet, but I'm speaking into existence. What branch of medicine will you go into when you complete your studies?
Right now, I'm not too sure, because, I've still got a while before I can choose, but based on what I want to do in life, and the time I need to have, I've decided that I'll probably go down the route of becoming a GP, because although my GP is the worst, and I'm sure a few of you can empathize with me, but the skills that you learn from being a GP are very broad. And although a lot of GPs don't do what they should do, their training actually tells them to do a lot more. So the training I get from that will allow me to go out to Jamaica and Portland especially, and set up clinics and help them with instruction. No problem. You have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you spoke a little bit about having that visualization of yes, you can possibly do it, and it's an option for you. As a parent of 2 young boys, one who's currently in university doing medicine as well, I found that it wasn't until they got to the upper end of secondary school that it starts being sold to them, that idea. What do you think we can be doing, other than supplementary school, because I know as supplementary schools a lot of us already do that, but outside of supplementary education, what can be done to kind of encourage the children from a much younger age to understand that university is an option to them and these routes are available to them?
Yeah. So I know that actually, but you probably know more about. I don't know. I'll talk about it, and then if I'm the first thing is just kind of be engaged. I find a lot of the time there's some parents that don't even know where their children are, and I find it very strange because I can never leave my house without knowing where I'm going or what I'm doing. So, like youngest children, younger, the 2. When a young child's interested in what he wants to do, and through that kind of open possibility. Oh, have you thought about this at university? Or and also, universities do a lot of wine participation things.
I think that's the point that I'm trying to make. A lot of the work that's done with wider participation tends to happen when they're about year 11, 12, and not so much in the primary years. And I work in a supplementary school at primary level, so it's about what can we be doing to encourage participation from that age, rather than waiting until they're in, post GCSEs all the way on the way to A-level.
I know that King's definitely does a lot of work with primary school children, because I've actually been involved in some sessions as well. So that's anything from, I think working from elementary school.
Yeah, so if I may answer that, so I think as a sector, quite recently we've realised, exactly as you say, that we need to be starting from a much younger age to plant the seed that if they want to go to university is a possibility for all young children. But particularly with the primary schools now, you'll find that most London universities, that's where my experience is, now actually has outreach programs for, you start as early as year 6. So this university and the university that I worked at prior to King's was the London School of Economics, so LSE. And they have programs for year 6 students. We bring them in and they get an exposure to university life. So to answer that question more broadly, if I may, what I would also encourage and suggest is that as universities, we have a responsibility to reach out to the communities, and you'll find that we have a presence at schools, at parents' evenings and stuff like that, but please, parents, engage with the universities. Look on our websites. There are projects that we are funded by the government. I no longer work in the sector, but just as, we are funded by the government. Each university in the country has 30% of their income as an institution to work with community groups, to work particularly with BME students. As James said, we are underrepresented. Our children are not represented at top universities. And as departments, we're funded by the government. We were doing it anyway to work more to encourage our children. So we have things like summer schools. We actually run Saturday schools as well. But through organisations like the Amos Bursaries, because they recruit the boys already, we go to those community organisations. And this was one of the reasons why I wanted to work with Brother Nia, because we wanted to bring the community to the institution. So it's a two-way process. We're out there, we're doing our best, but please engage with us as well. As James said, the website, we have projects that we're sponsored to run, summer schools, Saturday schools, evening tuition. So I would say it's taking place, we've got some work to do, but we're definitely making headway, as James is testifying to. I think we probably have time for 1 or 2 more questions. But are there any children that have a question? Any children that want to ask? I've been encouraged that children need to ask questions this evening.
Well,
how do you know which university is the right one to
So what an important thing to do is obviously look at universities that do your course. Then after that, kind of think about, do you want to move out? Because think about if you want to move out of London or stay in London, because that's a very big factor for a lot of people. Then try and visit these universities. They have a lot of open days. I think traditionally open days are normally like June, July, and September. Am I right? So try and visit these universities, get a feel of what the university's like. They even do like accommodation tours, and you have student ambassadors. Now, I'm a student ambassador myself for King's, that will tell you their experience of King's, of any university. So those are outside ways that you can really feel if the university is for you. And also, I look at the course, because courses are done differently in different universities. So look at if the course kind of tailors to your interests and the things that you expect to find from your course, and then kind of go from there.
This lady in the gentleman, and I think we need to wrap up.
I know,
There's quite, oh, the children. Children. Yes. Sorry, we'll come to you.
How did you get in trouble?
how did I get in trouble?
Give a brief.
For a lot of things. The most common thing I'd say was probably talking. I like to talk, and so that's either talking to my friends, talking back. The only person that I really, I wouldn't say feared, but there's a line you didn't cross with my mum. So, like, when I went to school, there wasn't much you could really tell me. Especially if I thought I was right and I didn't think I was doing anything that I shouldn't be, I would have let you know. I was also, especially when I was younger, I kind of learned, as I said, my Year 5 teacher sort of changed my mentality. I kind of learned that I can no longer be fighting, because the older I get, the more severe the consequences. And so that's one thing I don't really engage in arguments anymore. It takes a lot for me to get angry, because end of the day, everything can probably be resolved with dialogue, and if you can't, then it's not worth you raising your blood pressure over. So yeah, I'd say fighting late. I was always late, and sort of talking back were my main thing. Obviously, there were a few outliers here and there, but I'm not going to those right now.
Thank you for that question. Yes,
Yeah.
When you look back now to how you were when you were younger, how do you feel like? What comes into your mind?
I'd say I look better now than I did when I was younger. No, but seriously, the one thing I want to do, I want to go back and change how I was, because every experience I had when I was younger kind of has shaped me where I am today. The good, the bad, and the ugly are the reasons why I'm here, even standing here today. So I felt like I've learned a lot from, I call it my misfortune, and it's really helped me to now be able to give back, because I can relate to students who are seen to be badly behaved or on the verge of being expelled from primary school and secondary school. These people I can have conversations with and actually empathise with what they're going through. Whereas if I was if I had a more smooth ride through education, then I wouldn't be able to engage with people. I wouldn't be able to help as many people as I'm able to help today. So I look back and I say thank God. That's it.
I think that's